Hello. Oh, we've already got a... Okay. Chat's back on the display. Hello, everyone. Just gonna wait for some more people to come in. But this is just gonna be a fairly chill stream. I'm gonna be discussing One Piece emotional moments. I've got a tier list pulled up with some more so obscure, hyper-specific moments, not like the ones you see all the time. So I think there's a good mix of stuff to talk about there. And we're just gonna be going over all of them along the way. Big Dad, it's great to see you in the chat. I believe I have 3 episodes left in part 2 for JoJo's. Probably gonna watch that tonight, like maybe after the stream, honestly. We also got Dimmy here as chat moderator for the day. Okay, let me get this pulled up for the window. Minimize that. All right. Sorry, just making sure everything's set up properly. Still figuring a lot of the stream stuff out. Yeah, JoJo's has been absolutely wild. Just absolutely great. I won't spoil because I know some people haven't seen it, but JoJo's has been mostly really fun. Like, it's been very fun and crazy and bizarre, as the title suggests, but a lot of the later half of Second 2 got into some really, like, actual deep character writing that kind of caught me off guard, but was really good. So I'm like fully on board with JoJo's at the moment, and I'm very excited to see this all wrapped up. Yeah, I'm very excited to see that Loki stream. Alright, I think we're just about ready to get started. Just some housekeeping stuff. If you are not aware, I have recently created a Discord channel or Discord server for the channel. I'll drop a link for that in the chat in a second. But it's vibes there are pretty good. Everyone's pretty chill. We just talk about One Piece, other stuff. Big Dad also has a Discord server. I'll drop a link to that as well. And if you haven't seen it, I dropped a video on Saturday about One Piece and another series called Stormlight Archive. I know it's a little bit more niche and may not appeal to everyone on the channel. So apologies if it's not your thing, but I do think it's still worth checking out. Currently working on a video that's going to come out next Friday or Saturday. Sort of an analysis, I guess, kind of a breakdown of episode 10-15, which is my probably my favorite episode of One Piece. So I think if you are looking for more just One Piece specific content, you will probably enjoy that. And for today's stream, if you're just coming in, we are going to be discussing some of the most emotional moments in the series. I got a tier list pulled up. This one, I went with this one because it has a good mix of like popular ones that you might think of automatically, but also some lesser discussed ones. So I think there'll be a lot to discuss here, and we'll obviously be breaking it down along the way. And if anyone wants to like pitch in and offer their 2 cents, feel free. Just gonna send the link here. Alright, so that's the link for the Discord server. Definitely check it out if you haven't gotten in there yet. It's only gonna get better over time. Alright, well, let's just get into this. I think it's pretty fitting that the first one is one of the more iconic moments. And this is, for me, this is kind of going to set the bar that we're working with here. This might be a little controversial. And actually, before I say where I'm going to rank this, I should say that none of these moments are bad. Like, whenever I'm doing One Piece rankings, a D tier for something One Piece is not a D tier overall for me. It's just that everything else is just so much better. Like, there's degrees for One Piece. So anything that I put in D, I'm not saying is a bad moment. It's just that I like other stuff more. With that said, I'm gonna put Shanks' sacrifice from chapter 1. I'm gonna put that right in the middle at B tier. It's a great moment. It's obviously iconic, and it always hits. Like every time it comes on the screen in a flashback or something, it always brings about. It always moves you, right? It's so pivotal for Luffy and for Shanks as individual characters, but also their relationship. It's our first instance of inherited will. It's incredible, but I do think that there has been a lot of stuff that has marked a different standard for emotional moments that's come after, and that stuff is going to be like the A and S tier. So that's how I feel about that. We got Zoro and Kuina next. This one, I feel like I'm one of the only people who actually is like seriously emotionally moved by Zoro's backstory. A lot of people make memes about how Kuina's death was written and all that stuff, and it's definitely not the most well written or elegantly written backstory, but I've always liked how sudden Kuina's death is in the backstory. I think it's fitting that a character, that Zoro is a character, you know, being so preoccupied with death and danger, that his backstory is focused on the suddenness of death and how it comes at unexpected times. So I do think it's a very effective moment, but in the grand scheme of One Piece emotional moments, I think it does fall in that lower tier. As much as I will defend it, like Oda can and has done better, you know? Yeah, Lego Golden Frieza. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's fair. Like, I can't really blame anyone for not really being moved by it. Yeah, Big Dad, if it were like just anime emotional moments in general, Shanks and Luffy would easily be A and S tier, but I think once the whole list is together, it will make more sense within context. But speaking of that, we're now going to move This list is kind of in chronological order as well, which I like. So we're going to be moving into Baratier territory. And I think this moment here is essentially just Zeph's sacrifice, where it's revealed that he ate his leg. This is a great moment. In the manga, in the anime, in the live action, this is really, really good. Honestly, the whole backstory as well. Yeah, this has to go in A tier for me. It is just a step up above Luffy and Shanks in terms of just the gut punch it delivers. You know what I mean? Yeah, the power of shared dreams too. Just really great character writing for Zeph. And with that said, I don't know if this is an unpopular opinion, but the next moment is probably Zeph sacrifice A. Yeah, I agree. But the next moment with Sanji is easily in my top 5 emotional moments, probably in the entire series. When Sanji and Zeph part ways at the end of the arc. The first time I watched the series, this was a good scene for me, but it didn't really stand out that much. It wasn't until I rewatched it for the second time that this really hit me. Like, I don't know exactly what it was. Maybe it was the time in which I watched it. But especially in the anime with the OST, this moment is just so beautiful. I think it's the fact that the entire arc, Zeph and Sanji are two characters who both really care about each other, but both of them never really explicitly expressed that at all. It's sort of just understood. But this is a moment where it's just building and building and building. Both of them know that Sanji has to leave and that he's going to leave. But neither of them are sort of addressing it. Neither of them are confronting their emotions around each other. And when we get to that moment where Zeph just says one little thing, like, I forget what the different translations are. I know one of them is like, keep your feet dry, don't catch a cold. Just that one little line is enough to just make Sanji break. And then the fact that it's not really framed as something tragic, it's a goodbye, but it's one of those heartfelt goodbyes. And like I said, the OST really, really elevates it for me. So I would consider that an S tier, the first S tier of this list. And now I think about it, probably one of the first S tiers in the series for me. Alright, so now we got Usopp. Usopp is one of my favorite characters. But I feel like this one, like Kuina's, it kind of just happens, you know? It doesn't really... Like, it's sad. Like I said, everything in D tier is still good. It's sad, it's still moving. But for me, it's one of those things that you just acknowledge secondhand. Like, you're watching it, and it's sad, but it doesn't really make me feel the way the other ones do. So I'd put that one just behind Kuina for me. Alright, back to the Baratier. We've got Zoro's declaration, his declaration of loyalty, rather. Yeah, underdeveloped is a good way to put it. I think a lot of those early backstories and flashbacks were really underdeveloped compared to later. There weren't a lot of full chapter or longer flashbacks. It wasn't until Sanji and Nami where Oda really started to flesh out his skills there. So unfortunately, yeah, there are a lot of moments that kind of just come and go. But for Zoro and Baratier, this moment, I'm torn between B and C. It's definitely above these two. I don't know if it's on the same tier as Shanks. I think I would put it in B. I think I would put it in the same tier as Shanks. I personally really like how the anime waited to show Zoro's backstory until the Baratier. They showed it pretty much right before Zoro fought Mihawk, and I feel like that made this moment hit a little bit harder for me. It's the first time we really see Zoro get emotional, and it's one of the reasons why Baratier was like my Arlong Park. Gotta be beat, yeah. It is really good. My first instinct was to put it lower just because I always think of Nothing Happened. But this one is really good. And one of the reasons why I love Baratier so much, Baratier was like my Arlong Park, so that was my arc that kind of won me over when I first got into it, and part of it was seeing all the world building come together. You have Mihawk and the Grand Line and Zeph coming in. You have some really good Luffy character writing. Sanji obviously is great. You have Nami. It's revealed that Nami is a part of Arlong's crew here. She betrays them, so that's some interesting drama that gets added. And then you do have some deeper character writing with Zoro. Yeah, so it's gotta be B. It's gotta be B. Yeah, the chapter itself, the entire fight, the progression of it from the beginning to the end to this moment is just so good. It's so good, but the moment on its own, I feel like putting it right around the same tier as Shanks, that feels right to me. But now, speaking of Arlong Park, it's time to talk about what is still regarded as one of the most emotional arcs in the series. Starting with Bellamir's sacrifice. This, for me, is A tier. And you know what? I'm going to put it above Zeph. That's just a personal preference. I just think I connected a little more with Bellamir's sacrifice. I think it felt more tragic. It definitely is more tragic because she died and Zeph lived. And I think that was the first time Oda really went that far with a character backstory. And then it just sets up everything with Nami's moment, which we're going to talk about next, so well. As for you, yeah, honestly, I can't argue with that. Yeah, the parental stuff there, the themes of family. The reason I don't put it in S personally is because I think this moment is just on another level. In fact, this has to be, yeah, as of right now, this has to be the number one in S. I don't think I even need to say anything, right? I think we can just move on from that one. The next one, I'm not sure. I think this is specifically, I don't know if this is supposed to be Chopper's whole backstory, but I think it's specifically trying to focus on when he was kicked out of his reindeer group when he first ate the devil fruit. Yeah, double S for sure. I feel like maybe we should make a second. Nah, we'll just stick with S tier for now. I don't want to get too complicated. But yeah, for Chopper's moment, I think it's talking about when he was specifically kicked out of his tribe and like was trying to integrate with the humans and that wasn't working out. So if we're talking about that moment specifically, I think I would still put it in A. I think I would put this in A just because Chopper's whole backstory for me is one of the most emotional still. For me, it's still probably top 5 backstories. It's just, there's so much, there's such a wide range of emotions, and there's just so much layers to it. So many layers, like ogres. But like, there's a lot of poetry in there. There's something really unique about this animal that just happened to eat a devil fruit and is in just such a bizarre situation, but the fact that you feel for him so much, I think it's just really a testament to Oda's writing. Yeah, that's why I'm saying most of Chopper's story is sad, so like any moment, I'm gonna put this one in A, like high A. I think that Dr. Hirolook's sacrifice, which is kind of like the whole climax of the backstory, that's gotta be the S tier. I'll put it on the lower side of S tier for now, but Dr. Hirolook's speech, it's iconic. Again, the music in the anime, especially the music in the anime for some of the early pre-time skip moments is so good. They still do a good job currently, but I feel like they were a little bit more creative back then. Like they were playing like Ave Maria, just so random for an anime to play, but it worked. And then the way how Chopper reacts to this moment is so good. The fight with Dalton, yeah, that's S tier. Luffy carrying Nami up the mountain. I think I'm gonna put this above Hirolook actually. I was thinking about putting it in A for a second, but I think I'm just biased towards Luffy as a character, so I'll put it in S tier as well. I could also see arguments for A. Maybe for some people it's B or C. I just really love Drum Island, I think that's what it is. And this for me, yeah, underrated. I feel like not a lot of people talk about the Luffy Nami. Like it gets brought up a lot, but doesn't get enough credit. The cherry blossoms though, this is one of my favorite moments in the entire series. It, like I was saying, I love Chopper's backstory, and this just pairs with that so well, and just it pays off everything about that. Perfect send off to the arc, perfect final send off for Hirolook. Like I said, it's just very poetic. There's the symbolism there. I love symbolism a lot in stories. I love allegory, and there's so much allegory in One Piece, and this moment is one of those. I actually have a poster right behind my monitor. I'm looking at it right now of artwork of this. Also, the other side of this is that it gave us one of the most iconic memes in the fandom. Oh, let me Yo, what's up, Shade? You joined at a great time. We're just talking about One Piece emotional moments uh, along the way of a tier list. But yeah, this moment's one of my favorites. So for me, it's gonna be top of S tier for now. Looking at this list, we might have a lot of A's and S tiers coming up. This one is another one I feel like I don't have to explain. But I will just a little bit. This moment with Vivi was... I was really enjoying One Piece at this point. But when I saw this moment at the end of Alabasta, that's when I realized, oh, this is actually one of my favorite things ever. Like, this is one of the best stories. It's still... I don't think it still was, like, top for me. But this really did propel the series higher in terms of my enjoyment. Because not only is it such a good emotional moment, and obviously Vivi as a character, she basically was a main character alongside the crew for the entire saga. So seeing her stay behind, that was really satisfying. Just, it felt like the end of an era, you know. But the callback to when they all put the X's on their arms for the purpose of just differentiating each other, that was when I realized Oda is constantly writing with intention and setting stuff up. Because that was just a little moment at the beginning of the arc. And then he pulls it back out of nowhere to create one of the most, like, powerful scenes in the whole arc. Over Nami, over Nami, these two moments are over Nami for me. Just for me personally, I think they're all... Most of the S tier stuff is, like, on the same tier. They're just, like, inches above each other. But yeah, over Nami, it just hit different. I think these moments hit different for me because I knew there was something with Nami coming in Arlong Park, so I had expectations, but these two moments just kind of came out of nowhere. So they've always stuck with me. Oh, Big Dad. Yeah, I don't want to go too far off on this tangent, but I vastly prefer Chopper's old weird little... I don't want to say goofy, but oddly shaped design, I guess, if you will. I really miss it. There's just something, there's a little more character to it. Looking at this list, I think I'm actually going to adjust some stuff. I think I'm going to put Luffy and Heroic in A. Because as we're getting into these higher tier moments, I don't know if like the farewell to Vivi is on the same tier as these two. They're still really good. Sorry, 1 second. 1 second. I'll be right back. Alright, sorry about that. Yeah, emotional moment inflation. We got tier list inflation in 2025. Noland and Calgara. I've been thinking about this backstory a lot lately. I don't know why. I've just been thinking about Skypiea. And whenever anybody says that they don't like Skypiea, I just think of this flashback because the character writing, the world building, everything about this is so good. This is S tier. This is S tier, just to keep it short. Put it at the end of S tier for now. Because obviously the stuff with the Straw Hats at the focus is always going to be a little bit higher. But it's still S tier. Oh yeah, you're right, Big Dad. Bon Clay's... Oh no, Bon Clay's Sacrifice is here. Yeah, I already know because you read, Big Dad, you read this arc recently. I can only imagine how much that hits for you now, because it still hits for me even after months. I think it's been over a year since I last watched this in the anime, and it's still great, but I can only imagine the recent feelings of it. Yeah, it's so good. Oh, the Alabasta Sacrifice. Yeah, the Alabasta Sacrifice is not here. I guess we can kind of use the Bon Clay picture to talk about both. Skypiea is continuously still underrated rhetoric, I agree. Yeah, let's just talk about Bon Clay now. Since we were on the topic of Alabasta, we might as well talk about Bon Clay. It's S tier for sure. The question is where do we put it? I feel like a lot of people would be inclined to put it up here, but I personally can't put it above Chopper. I don't know if I can put it above Nami either. I feel like this feels right to me. And this is for the Alabasta and Impel Down. Both moments are incredible. Impel Down is obviously better. What's crazy about the Impel Down sacrifice is that after Bon Clay sacrificed in Alabasta, he was in prison that entire time. So his last moment of freedom in the real world was choosing to sacrifice him and his crew for Luffy. And then he's in prison, completely isolated for, what is it, like a month or two? Something like that. And then he meets Luffy again. He has a chance at freedom again, and just doesn't even waver and instantly chooses to do the same thing again. That's what makes it so much more powerful for me. Yeah, first one I would say B tier. Second one definitely S, double S, triple S, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, now that I think about it, I mean, I'm gonna put it just behind Sanji's. That Sanji moment's a little, it's very personal for me, so. But yeah, I don't think any of the S tier character moments are gonna beat out the S tier Straw Hat moments. You know, the Straw Hat moments are always just gonna hit a little bit harder. Okay, so now we got Sanji. This isn't really an emotional moment, I guess, if we're considering hype or cool in emotion. What do you guys think? What do you think Sanji's I Need a Light is? I feel like it's somewhere around here. I don't think I can put it in C. Yeah, it's just a sick moment. It's not an emotional moment, but I mean, who really cares? It's a great moment. I don't think I can put it above these two, but I think it is still on the same level. Get him in C. C. I need to hear the rationale for that. Because I'm not even the biggest Sanji fan, but this moment, as an emotional moment though, I kind of see the logic. It's definitely not better than Zoro or Shanks. I'm gonna put it in low B for now. Maybe you'll change my mind. I'm gonna keep it in low B. You know what? That's valid. That's valid. Yeah, we'll put it in C, especially because we need to we need a better hierarchy here. We need the C tier to start coming in. Yeah, that's the thing. One Piece C, bottom of B is I could see bottom of B, but I feel like we do got to fill out that C tier a little bit. Rhetoric. And I do agree with Big Dad, it's not quite on the same tier. It's just with One Piece, I'm so hesitant to put stuff in like C or D because it's still great. Luffy and Usopp's fight, or their... Is this their... Okay, so this doesn't have their actual fight in Water 7. So I guess we can kind of conflate that with this scene here. So even if we weren't talking about the fight, their actual fight, this would probably still be S tier for me. I don't know how people feel about that, but I think the scene where they're arguing is written so well. It's the first time we really have like really great drama between the crew members. The way the scene, it starts off very calm, and then each of them progressively get more and more frustrated and angry with each other, and then all the other Straw Hats, the way they react to it is so weird. Seeing this crew that's so happy and friendly all the time really kind of hit a point where they're just deeply fighting with each other, and nobody knows what to do. Nobody knows how to react. They're just saying stuff out of anger. It feels so real, the way they're fighting, the way that it progresses. When Sanji kicks Luffy to stop him from telling Usopp to leave the crew, like everything about this scene is so good. And then if we're combining that with the actual fight, easy S tier. Oh yeah, Dimmy. I know a lot of people hate this moment. I think this is what Dimmy is kind of referring to. A lot of people hate this moment because of Usopp. Usopp, and I'm saying this as someone who loves Usopp. Usopp is extremely frustrating to watch or read in this moment. Luffy is too in some ways, but I think Usopp a little bit more because his emotions aren't as clear, and he does kind of take the role of the aggressor in this whole conflict and really kind of driving that final nail in the coffin and all of their brewing tension. So Usopp is extremely frustrating. But even then, I would still consider this S tier because the writing of it is so good. Like, the drama of it all is so good. A personally, yeah. I just really like how... I think I just like the drama of it, and I love how all the characters, not just Luffy and Usopp, all of their emotions are reflected in this scene. But I am also going to use this to talk about just Luffy and Usopp as a fight. And yeah, I think that's S tier. I think I would put it... I'd put it pretty high, personally. I think I'm inclined to put a lot of the Water 7 scenes really high. Water 7, in my opinion, has some of Oda's best character writing, best emotional writing. I think it's the most... I think Water 7 might just be one of, if not his ultimate magnum opus. Yeah, so I'm a little biased with Water 7. But Frankie and Usopp's moment, I don't remember everything about this. I remember Frankie is basically Frankie was kind of like, this is where Usopp reveals that he knew the Mary was doomed and that he was just acting emotional. Frankie kind of reveals stuff about the Mary's spirit and the whole Club Bowderman thing. This is probably C. I think C is fair. Yeah, Rhetoric, you make a great point. Like, all those little moments, like the symbolism of the Mary crying from the ocean that splashed on him, and Zoro giving Luffy's pep talk. Amazing character writing. Luffy crying with his hat on his head, saying this hat is so heavy. Yeah, it's all those little moments with the Straw Hats around the conflict of Usopp and Luffy that put it so much higher for me. But yeah, for Frankie, Usopp, that scene C feels right. Like it's good. It's brief. It's not super deep, but it is more fleshed out and developed than these two. Frankie's backstory, I'm gonna put that one in A. Put it high A. I got, again, Water 7 bias here, but I also really love Frankie. Frankie as a character is criminally underrated, and his whole backstory is so well written. What I will say, because I don't want to spend too much time because we got a lot to get through. What I will say about this moment, what's so great about him standing in front of the train, this is the moment when he is forced to become a cyborg because obviously he gets disfigured because he gets hit by a train. Yo, Savage, it's nice to see you. A tier for Frankie, I agree. But him being forced to be turned into a cyborg because of him getting hit by a train, this comes at a point where he was rejecting his own creations, rejecting his inventions, and rejecting his own creativity. And he didn't quite understand Tom's lesson that he gave to him when he left to go to what's it called, Annie's lobby. And so when he stands in front of the train, he's still just acting emotionally, still doesn't understand. But he is then forced to turn himself into a cyborg, which has a double meaning there. He is rejecting his inventions the whole past few episodes or whatever, and now he's forced to become one of his own inventions. He's forced to take his skill and his craftsmanship and apply it to himself. And so in the same time where he's forced to reckon with what his inventions can be used for, he's forced to reckon with himself, literally. And I think that's incredible writing that doesn't get talked about enough. So A tier for sure. Robin and Olvia, this is S tier. This, oh my god. Yeah, B tier is fair. B tier is fair. This is just some of my personal bias coming through about Frankie. I think it's just a matter of I like it a little bit more than some of these. But Robin, Olvia, S tier, high S tier, maybe the highest S tier for right now. Let me think about it. I'll put it right here. Yeah, absolutely devastating. I mean, that picture says it all. This one, another one, needs no words. No words. I can still feel the emotions I felt when I saw this scene for the first time. Like, they still linger after all this time. Yeah. Usopp and Luffy, their sort of reunion at the end of Water 7. It's a good moment. It is great. It's very nice. I think I'm gonna put it C tier though. I feel like in a perfect world, this moment would have had a little bit more room to breathe. At the end of Water 7 or Enies Lobby, or post Enies Lobby, there's a lot of stuff Oda was doing, and all of it is great. But it felt like by the time we got to the moment when they were leaving, it kind of just happened, and it was good. Again, it's great, but maybe it could have been a little bit longer. Maybe we could have gotten more fleshed out Usopp character writing. I like how it played out, but yeah, C's kind of the vibe here for me. And Going Mary's funeral, this one, yeah, it's S tier, right behind Robin. Again, a lot of symbolism, a lot of allegory for that one. It's just the perfect culmination of everything that is Water 7. It's just incredible. Yep, exactly the same for me, Big Dad. Exactly the same. Only boat I'm crying about. Yeah. But what I love so much about this is it's not really about the boat. It's about so much more. And Oda doesn't really need to say that. And so the boat represents everything, that all the emotions that are really being spoken to here. Rhetoric says, I cried all the way from the scene with Robin and her mom to I Want to Live. Yeah. I don't remember. I think I mean, that backstory did bring me to tears. I'm not gonna lie. And I do remember also just being like completely taken over as that backstory was playing out. Like I watched the whole thing in one go as well. And then the I Want to Live just sort of as that like big crescendo. Incredible. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, Big Dad. Yeah. You said it perfectly. But yeah, Rhetoric also says the only moment that came close to the Robin stuff was Ace post-war and Kuma's backstory. You might be one of the only people that I've met that actually has said that. I know a lot of people love the Kuma stuff, but I don't see a lot of people giving a ton of credit to post-war. I love post-war. I love the ASL flashbacks so much. That for me, at some point I'll do like an arc ranking, but that for me is S tier. Just that little flashback is so good. And yeah, it is one of those high emotional points in the series for me too. And again, Kuma's goes without saying. As long as we're on the topic of Kuma, you know what? We'll wait to get to Kuma. But we know it's S tier. Zoro, Nothing Happened. I could see arguments for either A or S tier. because there is an argument to be said that Zoro doesn't evoke a lot of emotion. Like, it's a great moment, but he doesn't evoke quite the same emotion as Robin's, for example. However, I recently did a Zoro character analysis. If you haven't seen it, you should go watch it. But as I was doing that analysis, I just developed a deeper appreciation for the writing of the character, even though it's very simplistic. And I think that this really is the perfect culmination of everything that is Zoro, at least pre-time skip. Demi says Zoro isn't really emotional. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm getting at. It's like it's not really emotional. It's kind of like the same thing as a Sanji thing. It's not emotional. It's great. I think I think for the sake of this tier list, we are gonna have to focus specifically on the emotional aspect, or else we'd be putting like everything ARS. So if we're doing that, I'll put it high A. Yeah. Because it's definitely not on the tier of Bon Clay or Nolan and Calgara. Brooke, how do we feel about Brooke's backstory? This is specifically the moment when they're all playing the Binks sake right before they die. A for sure. Yeah, I will say I'm a little more inclined to A. As great as it is, you know, people always say like Robin and Brooke's backstory are the two most emotional, and I would agree, but for me Robin's more emotional. So in terms of like ranking, I do put Robin's higher. It's still really good. I keep saying that a lot, but I feel like I gotta defend that. This is still like incredibly emotional. It's still a gut punch. Some of Oda's best character writing. Yeah, it's very tragic. The rhetoric, the idea of 50 years. It's one of those. But I think that now that I think about it, now you brought up the whole 50 years thing. I feel like the Brooke backstory, it's kind of crazy to say this, and some people might not agree, but I feel like the Brooke backstory is more along the lines of shocking than emotional as compared to Robin's. It's just like there's a lot of stuff with Laboon, and then the actual circumstances of Brooke's life that were very emotionally shocking, but Robin's were just a little bit more tragic. I think the fact that she was a child, the degree of what she witnessed and experienced for 20 years. Obviously, you can't really compare trauma, but I think that for the sake of this tier list, I will put this here. Draw 555 says S tier. Yeah, S tier is totally valid for Brooke. I think I'm just gonna put it high A for me. Yeah, I agree, Rhetoric. I think that I'm saving the S tier for that moment. Luffy losing the crew to Sabaody. This easy S tier for me. Yeah, I'll put it here. Put it here. Not quite above the Mary, Mary just has like a bigger scale. It has the entirety of Water 7 building to it. But Luffy, something about seeing a character like Luffy that's so happy all the time, just like completely powerless and depressed, and yeah, I don't really need to say much there. Boa Hancock's. Okay, this one's hard. This one's hard for me. Because this is one of the darkest moments or flashbacks when you like understand the full context of it. Easily one of the darkest things Oda has written. Yeah, it's a reality check for Luffy. Bruh, and then, but like, I think what would go above that is just this moment here, just the double reality check. Yeah. No, but for Boa Hancock, yeah, I agree with that, Big Dad. It's similar to Zoro and Usopp, where it just kind of it happens in a flash. It's not super explicit. Obviously, there's a reason for that. But emotional, I think. Yeah, I'll put it here. I think the emotional stuff for Amazon Lily for me is when Luffy covers up the tattoo, the mark, or the, what would you call it, the branding of the Celestial Dragons, the slave branding. That to me, that's like taking this foundation and elevating it with some character writing in the present. Yeah, story told instead of showed. Yeah, shown. Alright, Luffy versus Ace. We're gonna do a little bit of a lightning round with Marineford because these are kind of all in the same tier. I'm just gonna go pure vibes on some of these. Luffy, Ace. Right here. Whitebeard. Right behind. You know what? Put Whitebeard right there. Actually, can't put it above Sabaody. Sengoku holding Garp. Underrated moment. Really glad that this is here. It's such a quick moment. Such a great moment for Garp though. All the little scenes with Garp throughout Marineford really get me. I'm putting it high A. That may seem a little high, but I'm a huge Garp fan, and I love how vulnerable he is in Marineford, and this is just the pinnacle of that. And just for any Akainu fans in the chat, I don't want to spoil too much, but after Egghead, we now know what would have happened if Sengoku didn't stop Garp here. We know what would have happened. That's all I'm gonna say. Dadan S tier. This comes put it right. I'll put it right here because this moment isn't just Dadan. It's also Garp. Like, it's Garp. It's Makino. It's Whoop Slap even. I don't know if anyone remembers Whoops, like that's his name, Whoop Slap, the mayor from Luffy's town with the hat, Whoop Slap. It's just Garp returning, them kind of confronting the tragedy of Ace. Yeah, Dadan is S. I'm so glad we got some Dadan fans here. This episode too, this is episode 505. I remember because that's one of my favorite episodes. This happens, this is the first half of the episode, and the second half is Luffy, or is Jinbei giving Luffy a wake-up call and telling him to remember what he still has, which I don't think that moment is here. But if it was, it would be S. Oh, is that what this is? Oh, okay, yeah, yeah. Parent bias. Yeah, I mean, I can't even blame you. I mean, it's peak. It's peak. Radon is an incredible character. Again, like I said, I'm a huge fan of ASL. Top 5 parent, I would even argue top 3 parent, Big Dad. But yeah, S tier for sure. Luffy, again, Marineford is just like some of the strongest emotional writing. I'll put this one, I would actually put this one above, no, never mind. Put it right here. Right here. Not a lot need to be said, kind of touched upon it with the other stuff. It's just, I think it's not as devastating as when he was there in Marineford and the death actually happened, but it's right behind it. It's like, this is Luffy's lowest point in the entire series. This is absolute rock bottom, and it's crazy how Oda set that up, you know. Alright, we got ASL stuff now. This is Luffy refusing to sell out Ace and Sabo to Blue Jam the pirate when they were just beating him up, which was really brutal. Great Luffy moment. Great, you know, it emphasizes that brotherly bond. I'm gonna put it right here in B tier. We got the death of Sabo. I think this one's gonna be A tier. Put it top of A tier for me. Yeah, just everything with Ace, like the conversation, if anyone remembers, like the scene when Luffy and Ace are talking afterwards, you have all these moments of like Ace crying alone, Luffy crying alone, but then they come together out of the sea to look out at the sea. That's the stuff that really puts Sabo's death higher for me, because we all know that Sabo doesn't actually die, so that does kind of take some weight away from it, but it's their reaction after that and the writing of it that puts it higher. Yeah, little Luffy's reaction. It's that stuff. So this is when Ace. It's the first time Ace was really opening up to Luffy, and it's where their relationship kind of took a turn to actually being closer. This is when Luffy says what he's afraid of is being alone. And that just informs so much about his character, especially at this point in the story. It sets up the moment with Jinbei. So it's a very quick moment, like some of these lower ones. Very subtle, but it is very powerful. You know what? I'm gonna put the Luffy moment, Child Luffy, in C, because I want to put this one in B. I think it's a little better. A at least. See, I was trying to not put it in A because I was feeling a bit biased towards the ASL stuff. Yeah, the Ace. Oh, you're. But yeah, Lego Golden Frieza says, I think that him being alive after this makes it less sad. But it makes the reveal of him being alive better. Yeah, I agree with that. I will say, before we get to the Sabo or the Sabo being alive reveal. I did get spoiled that Sabo was alive, which took some of the emotion out of that for me. And I do agree that him being alive makes this moment not as strong. But this is an argument I would have for a lot of fake out deaths. I really don't like fake out deaths. They're probably my number one criticism of One Piece. But the one argument I will have for fake out deaths not necessarily ruining these moments, like for example, Saul being alive, a lot of people don't like because they think it ruins this moment or the moments around it in the backstory. I don't agree, because in the context of those backstories, you still have genuine emotions from the characters affected by what happened. That's where the emotions come from. It's not the character dying, it's the reaction of everyone else close to them. And I do agree that it does take out some of the weight from this, for sure. But I also think that what really makes it great is Ace and Luffy. You're talking about Luffy being happy that Ace is alive. Okay, yeah. Because I am inclined to put that a little higher, too. Yeah, I agree. It's so powerful for Ace. Especially because we get Ace's backstory before this moment. We get Ace's backstory, so we know that he has low self-esteem. We know that he, like, essentially feels worthless. And so Luffy kind of expressing the fact that he actually cares about him is such a powerful moment in the scene because of everything we know about Ace. Ace doesn't have a big reaction to it, but you can definitely feel the connection. So you know what? You've convinced me. I'll put this higher. Put this right here. Yeah, and that's the thing. The time capsule is a great point. That is one instance where it makes sense. And I feel like because everyone hates fake out deaths so much, and we're so tired of them, people don't want to like see that there is some credibility to some of them. Fake out deaths aren't inherently bad. And I think Saul's case is one case where it was handled pretty well. So yeah, I agree. Yeah, W's in the chat. W's in the chat for Big Dad. Okay. I don't know how a lot of people are gonna feel about this. I love the Fishman Island flashback. Like, I really, really like it. I know a lot of people don't like Fishman Island. I do. I won't try and defend the arc here, but this flashback is incredible. Fisher Tiger, one of my favorite characters. I think I'm gonna put Fisher Tiger S. It's just so good. The society, what would you call it? Like the socio-cultural perspective here that Oda includes with the writing of the Fishmen, and how it connects to the themes of the sun god, but also on a smaller scale, the character of Fisher Tiger, his relationship to discrimination and racism and prejudice, the flip sides of prejudice, where you have characters like Arlong who respond to hate with more hate. You have this scene specifically where they're returning Koala. Everything with Koala, by the way, is just great. But the scene where they're returning Koala and the Marines show up, that is so devastating and infuriating. Yeah, anime pacing. I'm so glad they've readapted Fishman Island so that people can enjoy it more. I know that they cut out some stuff which people aren't happy about, but I think regardless, it's so much better to have a shorter version. But yeah, we're putting Fisher Tiger S tier. I'll put it right here. Yeah, can't put it above Whitebeard, but it's in the same class. Yeah, and Lego Frieza, I really hope that they continue the reanimation with Punk Hazard. That's another arc that desperately needs it. And in a perfect world, we would get a Dressrosa one too. Because it's absurd that Dressrosa is... I think it's 103 chapters. I could be wrong. It's like 103 chapters and 118 episodes. That's insane. It should be like 60 episodes. And it would still be perfectly paced. It does not need to be 118 episodes. That's ridiculous. Anyway, Queen Otohime's death. Again, really powerful for all the same reasons as Fisher Tiger. You could argue S tier, but I can't really put it above ASL. So I will put it right behind that. Alright, speaking of Punk Hazard, we have one of like the only really standout emotional moments, which is the kids and Mocha specifically. That's this kid here. I think this is referring to the scene where it's revealed that Mocha has basically been taking the drugs for all of the other kids, so she's been suffering for them. It's a good moment, but like these two scenes on the bottom, it's not very developed. It deserves more. Sorry, dog. It deserves more attention. It could have been a really big moment for Chopper, and it is treated like one, but it just doesn't really land for me, like some of the others at least. So I am gonna put it like in between these two. Yeah, C is fair. C is fair, Big Dad. I think for me, Punk Hazard, I don't know. I think it is because I watched the anime. The pacing kind of killed it for me. Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna move this because this actually takes place after Dressrosa. The Sabo reveal. This is B tier for me. Corazon. Corazon was great, but I don't know. I think I just had high expectations, so it didn't really land for me. But everything around Corazon and Law's relationship, extremely well written, very emotional. So I'll rate it on that in terms of just this specific moment. I'll put it in... I think it deserves S tier. It's like just on the border of A and S for me, but I'll put it over into S tier because, again, if we're talking about the reaction of the characters affected, Law's connection there and his reaction, it's S tier, yeah. The toys of Dressrosa, I guess just the entire concept. Yeah, just the concept of people being turned into toys. This is really dark. Again, one of the more explicitly dark concepts in One Piece, just from an existential perspective. Yeah, Big Dad, I fully feel you there. I know a lot of people love Corazon, and I love Corazon too, just more so from a less emotional perspective. I'll put it that way, because of how much people love Corazon, I was going into it knowing it was supposed to be something really big. And yeah, it just didn't quite hit me on an emotional scale, but I fully acknowledge the writing is S tier. The toys, I feel like you could argue A because of how dark. Yeah, you know what? It's definitely A because it's on a higher level than these ones for sure. Okay, Kyros, Scarlet. This to me is S tier. I know a lot of people don't like the Rebecca or the Dressrosa flashbacks a lot. I've always been a huge fan of Kyros. I love Kyros. I love everything about his writing. The moment when he loses Scarlet is so powerful to me because he's just been turned into a toy. Not only can she not remember him, he says something about because his hands have been turned into wood, he can't feel the warmth. He can't even feel the warmth leaving her body. Like, that is crazy. That is crazy. I'll put it in S tier for me. I would put it pretty high, actually. I know this is definitely going to be a lot higher than most people, but yeah, this one really hit me when I saw it. Kyros is an absolute badass. I agree. Senor Pink. This one, I know it's a very emotional backstory, but I cannot put it above Shanks and Luffy. I love Senor Pink, but I heard somebody say once, I think it was the YouTuber Murphy Napier, that Senor Pink's backstory kind of feels like a writing exercise of Oda taking this absolutely the most absurd character you can think of and then giving them the most powerful backstory. And so it doesn't quite have the same weight behind it, but it is one of the darkest backstories. It feels, oddly enough, it feels so grounded. Like, it's just about a very grounded topic. And then it just gets turned into something really, really bizarre. But there's obviously a lot of motion there. Hard-boiled tier, okay. Everyone's saying hard-boiled tier. I don't think it's just for the record, I don't think it's anything A or S above. But I can agree with a hard-boiled tier for sure. Hard boiled, put it, whoops, put it at the top. Hard boiled. I mean, no one can argue that, right? Bizarre, what I mean by bizarre is, just, it's this very, I mean, he's a guy that dresses like a baby. That's what I mean by bizarre. It's weird. It's weird, but he gives it legitimate, grounded purpose. But yeah, hard-boiled tier. No one can argue. The Usopp moment. My gut says B. Actually, put it right here. It's a great character moment. But emotional, it's not super emotional. And there's also a layer of comedy there. Xehanort Pink is a JoJo's Part 5 backstory. Well, I've never been more excited to watch JoJo's Part 5 than right now. I'm actually, I do hope there are more backstories in JoJo. I think the only backstory I've gotten so far is Caesar's Epiles. It was great. So I am looking forward to more backstories. Usopp moment is just funny. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's some good character stuff here, but it is kind of a comedy moment as well. For me, the Usopp moment from Dressrosa that would be A or even S is when he unlocks observation hockey. That is one of my favorite Usopp moments. I hope we get something like that in Elbaf. Sorry. This, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't remember if this moment here is specifically Raizo is safe, or if it's something else from Zoe. But I would assume it's Raizo, because that's like the big moment, right? So if we're doing Raizo is safe, I don't know. What do you guys think? I'm a little unsure. I want to say B or A, personally. Low B? Shocking, yeah, shocking more than emotional. I think I gotta agree with you, Big Dad. I think it's gonna be B for me. Again, not necessarily ranking the moments themselves, just the emotion, and it doesn't quite beat the emotion of Shanks. So, categorically can't be higher. I will put it above Usopp, though. Okay, Whole Cake Island. Heading back into A and S tier territory. Sanji's backstory is S. Put him pretty high. Put him right here for me. S tier. Luffy starving. I'll put this in S tier too. Again, the Straw Hat character stuff is always gonna shoot to the top. This also S tier. I think I'm gonna put it a little bit lower because this moment specifically isn't anything big. Put it. Yeah, put it right there. Pound? For me, Pound is C. Like high C. High C. Luffy and Sanji's reunion? Yeah, it's... For me, this moment here, my ranking is reflecting Luffy starving himself, waiting for Sanji. It's reflecting their reunion. It's their fight itself. Because the fight itself isn't here, but this is kind of the aftermath of it. So all of that stuff for me is S. Yeah, Pound for me is high C. It's, I mean, that's another character who got a fake out death that a lot of people don't like. That's not necessarily my reason. I just feel like the character itself is a bit understated, a little underdeveloped. It is a great moment. It's very emotional. Now that I'm thinking about it, it might be higher. Because I haven't watched or read Whole Cake in so long. But when I'm thinking about it, it is really good. It's just like when I think of Whole Cake, I think of so many other things. I'm going to go with high C. It's not a bad moment. Yeah. High C feels right for me. Tama and Ace. Oh, I thought this was Luffy for a second, but it's Ace. This is A tier. I love Tama. Tama and Ace, their relationship is great. This is A tier. Put it right there. Yasui. This one's S. For me, it would go this high, actually. Part of that is the fact that he does actually die. So there's a lot more weight to it than normal. And it's one of those moments that reverberates throughout the entire arc. Like, once the fight on Onigashima is done, we come back to this moment and we can feel the effects of it still within Otoko and everyone involved, even Luffy. So yeah, S tier. S tier. Odin. Easy S tier. Let's see. Easy S tier. Yeah, Rhetoric, it's one of those moments where it is really dark, especially with the smile reveal afterwards. It has the dark stuff from some of these other moments, but it also has the emotion, so it goes really high for me. Odin, we all know Odin wouldn't be Odin if he wasn't boiled. Honestly, you guys can tell me if this is wrong, but I feel like Odin deserves to go in hard boiled. I think that's fitting. We've got Toki. I couldn't remember her name for a second. Toki. I think that this is the first time in the story where somebody says New Dawn explicitly. She says a new dawn will come as she's getting shot with arrows and they're burning down Odin's temple. This is a really underrated moment. I think I would put it high A. It's a very powerful moment, and it does set the stage for the rest of the arc. And the thing about Toki is she knows. She comes from the Void Century, so she has a certain perspective about all the stuff that's happening that others don't. Big Dad, thank you for stopping by. It was great to have you here. Yeah, definitely looking forward to talking more soon. Everybody, be sure to give Big Dad a sub, give his channel a watch if you haven't, and check his Discord. I will drop a link to that. Where is it? Here's a link to his Discord, dropping in the chat. Alright, so we got the moment on Onigashima. This is the beginning of Roof Piece. This is S tier. It's S tier. You know what? A tier. A tier. High A tier. Because again, emotional, not very. It's a very powerful moment, though. One of the best episodes. The Roger moment, S tier. That's S tier. Would I put it this high? I don't think I would put it this high. What do you guys think? Because this is one of those things where the moment is really great. Emotional, I'm not entirely sure how good it is compared to others. I think I would put it think I would put it somewhere around this area. Let's put it here. Okay, Nami. This one's underrated for sure. A lot of stuff happens in this arc, and she doesn't really get the sorry, just checking something on my phone. She doesn't really get the focus that some of the other moments do because of how much is happening. But it's a great moment for Nami. The only thing I don't like about this moment is it does kind of make Usopp look bad. Because you have Usopp telling her to lie, which makes sense in context, but it's not a great look for Usopp, and it's kind of made people more critical of him. But for Nami, it's A tier, I think. I feel like it's on the lower side of A tier. Nah, it's high up there. It's high up there. Put it like right there. I guess like in the middle. That feels right. Yeah, Frieza. The he laughed. It's like so much is communicated through that moment with so little words. It's so great. All right. So we are getting into the end of Wano and Egghead. Just want to say thank you guys for watching who are still here. Thank you guys for anyone who's still coming in. It's great to have you. We've been discussing emotional moments, so this ranking isn't necessarily reflective of the moments themselves, just the emotions behind them. This is the list we've gotten so far. If you have any thoughts, maybe want something to be moved, feel free to let us know. The only exception is the hard-boiled tier stays. But let's move into Gear 5. Easily S tier. Emotional though. Emotional. Oh, okay. I mean, hype is an emotion. Excitement is an emotion. I would put it... I put it right here. Because this stuff is just so deep from an emotional perspective, I can't put it any higher. But I mean, come on. It's Gear 5. And this moment specifically, when it's like the cliffhanger, I don't know if anyone here was reading the manga at that time, but it was unreal. This cliffhanger was the wildest thing I've ever witnessed in the community. That 2-week break was something else. Oh, and the thing about Gear 5, because we were talking earlier about this moment here being Luffy's weakest moment, Gear 5 is the complete opposite of that, and it feels so earned by the time we get there. But I can't quite, in the context of an emotional tier list, I can't quite put it above these, but it's easily one of the greatest things in the entire story. Kozuki Hiyori, a lot of people don't give this moment enough credit. I think it's amazing. Yeah, I was just thinking the resin fruit, that was like the big theory at the time. It was the resin fruit, and then somebody did come up with the idea of a mythical human fruit, but they were saying it was not mythical human, it was a mythical zone that was based off sun god Wukong, which I remember that seemed really cool to me. But it was the sun god Wukong and the resin fruit. Those were the big ones. but nobody got it right. Nobody I mean, I think somebody got pretty close with their theory in terms of it being related to Nika, but nobody got it exactly right. It was crazy. The Hiyori moment, though, I think it's A tier, which may seem a little high. Oh, actually, I don't know if I can put it above Shanks. Like, Shanks is like the perfect benchmark I keep coming back to. It's like, can I put it above that moment or no? And I don't know if I can with this one. I'm curious to see what you guys think of this moment. I feel like you could say A because it connects with Luffy being the sun god really well. Just the moment of pure liberation, of when she's confronting the true oppressor of Wano, and is sort of just like embracing fate. And it's the first time we really see her get emotional. I think it's a really good moment. I do think it is better than the Shanks moment. I will say that. So I'm gonna put it right here. Okay, Egghead. This moment, this was from chapter 1121, I believe. It's a great moment, very hype. I feel like it's right here though. It's kind of just a it feels like that whole chapter felt kind of just like a teaser for the final saga. It's very hype, but emotional, not a lot. Okay, now we got the man himself, Buggy. This is actually really good. Like, all memes aside, the Buggy flashback is actually really good writing. It's quick. It's a quick moment, short flashback, but it recontextualizes the character and his relationship with Shanks, and it makes the whole gag of him wanting to be, or of him becoming king of the pirates, it makes it actually credible. Like, it makes him a character worth rooting for. It's a really good moment. I'll put it above, just above Hiyori. Alright. You guys already know, if you've read the manga, Kuma, you could argue that Kuma's above Robin, but easily one of the most emotional backstories in the entire story, if not the most emotional. Enough said. Yeah, easy S. This one's also Kuma's flashback. It's more so Bonnie's connection. This is when he was reading the letter for her 10th birthday, so we'll rate that moment. I mean, it doesn't change much, it's still S tier. I wouldn't put it above. I would put it just above Sabaody. Just above Sabaody. Yeah, that final chapter is so good. So good. Just not quite as good as some of the other moments for me. Alright, and last moment, Vegapunk's death. The moment is good. Emotional, it's on the lower side. I would put it, honestly, I think this would be the last place. I like Vegapunk a lot as a character. I like the moment a lot. I like the sacrifice. It's not very emotional though, and not very emotional, and the fact that he's still alive, it really, really upsets me. I mean, we were talking about fake out deaths earlier, but this is one case where I really, really do not forgive the fake out death at all. It's entirely unnecessary and just very forced. And it does. This is one case where it does take any emotion that the sacrifice had and kind of throws it out the window. So it can't be anything higher than where it's at for me. But this is our list. Let me zoom out a little. This is our list. This is what we got. I think it's pretty solid. Emotional moments. Number one, for me, I feel like a lot of these S tier ones, they could be interchangeable. For me, I think number one is Robin's I Want to Live. Last one is Vegapunk's Sacrifice. But with that said, what is your guys' number one? Because this list is, it's got my bias in it. What are your guys' like number one emotional moments? Do you agree with Robin, or do you have something else? I'm pretty satisfied with this list, though. S tier, we got Corazon, Noland, Kagura, Bon Clay, Sanji, and Pudding, Roger, He Laughed, Yasui's Sacrifice, Sanji's Farewell, Usopp vs. Luffy, Nami's Help Me, Chopper's Cherry Blossoms and Drum Island, Nico Robin and Olvia, the Farewell to Vivi, Fisher Tiger, Whitebeard's Death, Luffy waiting for Sanji, Gear 5, Sanji's backstory, Kyros, Sabaody, Kuma, Going Mary's death, Dadan, Luffy's weakest moment, and Ace's death, and then Robin, of course. Alright, so we got some people agreeing with Robin, number one. I do agree that when Kuma's gets animated, it's definitely gonna give the Robin moment some competition. The anime for that flashback is really gonna take things to another level, and we're only like 3 episodes away. So in like a month or less, we're gonna be starting the flashback. So that's cool. Yeah, the broadcast Frieza, that was definitely a time in the community. I don't think it was as bad as people made it out to be, but it dragged in terms of the week-to-week experience, because we had so many breaks, and then every other chapter was the message. It'll be much better in the anime, but at the time it was slow. Pretty solid list though. Everything feels like where it should be for me. I think that's pretty much it. I mean, we've covered like everything. Maybe one day we'll do another tier list with different moments, because there are a lot of other moments that weren't here. Thank you all for being here and contributing to the list. It's a good discussion. It's a fun time. I want to do more streams like this in the future. So let me know if there are like any other topics for ranking or discussions that you guys would want to see. If you weren't here at the beginning of the stream, I just announced that I do have a Discord server now. We'll drop a link to that in a moment. I highly recommend checking it out. There's a good amount of people in there already. We've just talked about One Piece and other stuff. The vibes are great. We've got some theories, anime discussions, lots of that stuff. It's just a good place to connect with the community here. Definitely get updates about content and other stuff before it comes out. But speaking of content, next week I've got a video coming out about episode 1015 and sort of a thematic analysis and breakdown of the themes in that episode. So stay tuned for that. I just dropped a video on Saturday. Be sure to check that out on the channel. I think that's all for now. Just gonna chat for a little bit before wrapping up. Rhetoric, are you enjoying LBAF so far? I watched your LBAF video last night. Oh, thank you for checking that out. That video, LBAF video hasn't gotten a lot of attention, so I'm glad you've gotten something out of it. I haven't talked about LBAF a lot since that video. I love LBAF. I think it's great. Right now, I don't have a lot to say because we're kind of in the point of the arc where Oda is setting up a lot. We're like in the rising action, right? Amir, hello. Thanks for checking in. We're actually just wrapping up. We were talking about emotional moments, which ones were best, which ones were not as effective. This is the list we got so far. Let me know if you agree or disagree with anything. But Rhetoric, yeah, we're kind of in the point of the arc where things are just kind of building, or just setting stuff up. So there's not a lot to, like, it's great. I'm not saying it's bad. It's just that there's not a lot of stuff to talk about. It's a lot of speculation. What I can say is I think the Loki flashback is coming very soon, within the next few chapters. I love the fact that Rox is his role model. I think that's really an interesting twist, and it kind of informs us more about Rox than Loki, because we know a lot about Loki, or we know enough to know that he's not a bad guy. So what does that tell us about Rox? You know what I mean? Very curious to see if we get more Rox content in the flashback, or if Oda's still gonna save that. One thing I was talking to Big Dad about on a stream we did recently, he's gonna upload a video of this stream in a week or two, but one thing we talked about was the Gods Knights and potential matchups. I think it would be really cool if the weaker Straw Hats get to shine against them here. Especially because right now we've got Gunko attacking the group with Usopp and Nami. You have the monster trio dealing with Loki, and I think Jinbei's with the group on the boat. I'm not sure, but basically the monster trio is occupied, so they're gonna have to step up, and I hope that Oda gives them something to do. Be cool. Yeah, if Luffy's I was just talking to my friend about this. Luffy's intuition for people is almost always accurate. The only time you could say it wasn't is with Lucci, but that's kind of just, Oda wasn't planning to make Lucci the villain when they first interacted, so that's why Lucci didn't clock anything about him. But Luffy gets people, and if Loki was a bad guy, Luffy would not have freedom. So it's just a matter of learning about the nuance of why Loki is the way he is, what his real motivations are, what his goals are. Usopp's time to shine? I really hope so. I really hope so. I believe that Oda will pay him off here, but there's a lot of reason to be hesitant. It's been a while. It's been a while since Usopp's gotten a moment, so I'm not sure how much we can expect, but I really, really, really hope so. Yeah, that's all I gotta say to net for now. Thank you all for watching the stream. Again, if you wanna keep talking outside of YouTube or outside of the stream, check the Discord link and jump into the server. You can always chat with me there or anyone else here. And I'll, of course, be giving updates about new content and new streams. For the schedule, new video next weekend. And I think I'm going to do Wednesday streams like this. Wednesday, Thursday streams every 2 weeks. So expect another stream 2 weeks from now. New video next week. And yeah, hopefully I'll see you in the Discord. But that's all for now. Thanks for watching, everyone. This was fun. See you all in a bit.